morning, everyone. A special request this week from Penny of this lady. Her story is an amazing woman. She was in the Second World War. She was saving children from Auschwitz, and she got caught by the Germans and broken both her legs. And the short story is that she was promoted for a Nobel Prize, was never given. So it's up to us now to remember her life. Okay, let's start. This is head, so all that round thing, which is her, I guess she's wearing a hat. And then you have that round bit here, that round, head, eyebrow somewhere here, nose here. And how do we get that? Because she's very, very bright here. It's got a lot of light here. So we have always done that. We just draw inside the light, which is here on the light area of her cheek, red cheek as well. There is a lot of dark tone, which comes from the red cheeks. Yeah? And look, I'm not committing with any lines because it's very early for me to do so. And I'm going very, very on average. This is starting with very unspecific line design, the design of her nose. Well, as I said, to start with this, with the veil or the hat, round bit, then you have the skull, the eyebrow ridge, jaw here, the jaw, very, very dark because of her cheeks, obviously, which is blood, and that comes as blood vessels, and that comes as very, very dark, obviously. If you, now to see that, to see what's going on, just squint your eyes. Squint your eyes and you will not see a line here. You will see a beautiful change of light tone to a very dark one, and then it becomes her dress again, which is very, very black. She's wearing black. And you have obviously a little bit of the lip line. You have the ear coming at that angle, and you have this, the ear, then you have the round bit, a hat again. And how do we deal with light here? Because again, it's all light. There's not another way except coming here and doing and re-emphasizing this shadow here, making it even darker. Then you have cheek again. I'm being very bold here, we're going a very straight line because the cheek is not that straight. Obviously it's an organic form, but then at this stage we need to look at it into the most simplified version of it. Now I could do that line this way, the line here, but actually her skin tone is it's got very small wrinkles, so it would be nice to bring them, well, by moving the wrinkles this way, that also gives form onto her face. See, it's surrounding and is giving form, the roundness of her face. That's the same thing here. Come in here and come in with round movements. Again, if you see it here, you might not be able because it's got a lot of shine coming through. But then you have this again. You have this roundness. See the wrinkles as they start forming here. I'll leave it at that stage. It's a bit harsh the way that I've done it now, but again, I'll come later on and we'll fix it. Now check this line. Look, from the ear you go straight to the nose, to the jaw. Ear and jaw. This is it. And then we have that little turn of her cheek coming this way, and then you have you have that dark here, beautiful dark, which goes underneath it, between the eyebrows and the eye. I just cannot not mention that because I don't know Russian at all, but she looks to me like in Russia these peaceful and beautiful faces of ladies of that age, they call them babushka or babushka, something like that. So I cannot not mention that because it's so much like a babushka. Okay, now the upper eyelid on the right, it's upper than that. So the eyelid on the right here, and then it goes, so you see an horizontal line from her right eyelid or left. Let's simplify it because it's her right eye, but if I say right, you might be thinking, why it's not that? So her right, but let's simplify it, left eye, as we see, it's the left. So from the left eye to the right, this eyelid is higher than that. So that eyelid is higher than that. So let's do that. The eye. Now the eyes are small, not because the eyes are small or the opening of the eye gets smaller as we grow older. So it's not really small, but she's old. And eyebrow. Then you have this dark coming from that side, and it moves that way. So you got frown lines coming all the way. And here as well, yes. And also a little bit darker here. And now there is a tiny shine on her eye, a little light, but I will not be, I'm committing now here, I'm being a little bit picky here, but I shouldn't actually. I should continue with a bigger form. But at the same time I have in mind, if I was to leave this for whatever reason, to leave it at this stage, you go for a coffee, you go for a sandwich, or for a little break, then when you come back, you should leave it at that stage. That's what they say, that the books say that, and teachers say that you will love to see it and to come back and be positive and continue. So sometimes when you see that it's not exactly what you wanted to do, you can actually commit a little bit with this particular line, and then leave it to a stage that you are happy with, as I said. The bag under the eye, although they're not overly big. Now this is her eye socket, eyelid, eyebrow, the eyebrow coming up here. Now this is that's the skin. So there's no, I don't see any hair actually on the eyebrows, but it's her skin which has taken that turn here, and it looks like an eyebrow. Now, it's okay, but what I'm seeing, what I'm not actually doing properly, is that the middle of the whole, top to bottom, the whole of her face is eyebrow. So eyebrow to the chin, move up, eyebrow to the chin. Yeah, so the middle of her skull is there. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, have a look. So I said there. So from the chin to that point, move up. No, it's not there, it's lower than that. So eyelid, there. Come on. It's the camera which is moving up and down. 1, 2. Yes, it's the eyelid. It's the top of the eyelid. So if the top of the eyelid on me is there, that means I have to go way up. See, there's a mistake there. So what I should do is bring the eyelid down and also move up a little bit with her hair. Hat. Move the hat slightly higher. That's the answer, 1. And she's quite, the width of the hat looks the same as, so the width of the hat is the same as top of the hat, lower of her mouth. So you see, these are the things we need to keep an eye on. So the width of the hat is from the top of the hat, lower of her mouth. So the width of the hat is, oh, that's correct. Okay, I'm doing okay here with the width, as the width goes here. And lower slightly the eyelid, no, sorry, the eyebrow. Leave the eyelid where it is, because that's correct there. And just work on the eye a little bit more. And the eye is darker than the skin tone. And you have that little skin which is quite light here. And then you have that half tone here, which suggests the roundness of the brow ridge. And also moving the half tone here, and also creating that skull, the forehead, the skull shape of the forehead, the skull behind the forehead, some worry lines, and then white hair. And going a little bit dark here. Very dark, but for a purpose, is to get this beautiful shadow here. Half tone. And then cheek, just making the cheek a bit more rounded. There we are. And on that line, on that angle here that I have, see, a little bit of a deviation, and you have the ear, not the lip, this part, which is here. See a horizontal line which moves. I'm just moving the peak of that, moving it on the right, and you will see it there. Just goes there. And then you have on the top of the ear, on the right, because it goes on the top of the eye. So top of the ear, you have that highlight which goes. So the ear is quite big, actually, quite large. Ear, you know, the ear grows as we grow, continue to grow. The ear continues to grow. It's just above there. So there you are. So the ear actually comes right up here. There you are. Okay. And giving a little bit more, committing a bit more now with the likeness of her nose. Then you got loads of dark up here, the nose as it comes around. And then you have the other nostril coming this way. Lots of darks underneath here. That's the shadow, the cast shadow that the nose is casting upon her upper lip. Lip goes wider there. And then the line just becomes blurry on this side. Look. Do not forget the line becomes really blurry here. So don't be taken by the eyelid, the lip of the line lip. The line, well, the lip line. Sorry, the lip line. Although if you concentrate, you'll see it, but then you squint your eyes, you will see that becomes part of a wider shadow. Just there. So actually, this is brighter than the lip itself. So you see what I'm talking about? This particular line there. And shadow here. Shadow there as well. Cheekbone. And the eye itself, which is right here. You have tear duct coming through, tear duct is there. Now the difference or the distance between the eyes is quite large here. 1, 2, wow, it's 1.5. So the eyes are very, very small here. Obviously it's the age. And tear duct coming here, tear duct. There you are. She's roundness of her eye. A little bit of eyelashes. Now see the tear duct at the end of the eye. The tear duct is lower than the end of the eye. See, the tear duct is here. The eye, the end, where the eye ends is something like this. It's there. It's moving upwards. So keep an eye on that. That's the same here. So okay, let me see. Let me say more clearly. So the edge of the eye, look, the tear duct is lower than the edge of the eye. Do you see that? So that's important. It looks insignificant, but it's actually very important, because you're playing with the likeness now. But these are things that the more you work, the more you get into these things. You know, the more intuitively you see those things. And that's the same from the other side. So the edge of the eye is higher than the tear duct. It's there. I don't want to overemphasize it, because that's another risk that you run. Me too. Now that dark line represents this very dark skin tone here, because it's obviously the shadow. And then you have her cheekbone coming through this way, and the hat which goes right here. Okay. Now you have cheekbone again, getting very dark here. Very dark here as well. And a half tone like this, moving it, see, moving it this way, moving the hand this way, and then moving like an oval shapes, and then also on the top of her upper lip, which is this, where the moustache, obviously no moustache on the lady, but where the, don't know what to call that upper part here, but you know what I mean. And having a little bit more moving, emphasizing the two cheek lines here. And also working a little bit with the wrinkles here. And that is very, very dark here. Obviously that's her dress. And dark around here. And yes, her hair comes here, white hair, and her shoulder comes actually up here. That's how it looks there. She's got white, obviously grey hair. Now the grey hair, there's very little indication. Now, how do you treat this area? See, it's white, which is her hair, and skin tone, which is slightly darker. And I can tell for sure that her skin tone is slightly darker than her grey hair. So work on her skin tone here, and that will be enough to add here, and then leave that area, which is the grey area, leave it unworked. Again, forehead, the hairline is right in the middle here. So right in the middle here is the hairline. And that little, just keeping her hair like this, with, well, you know what I mean here, that little, which I Don't know the name in English. And darker tone. She's got red cheeks. And then you have this cheekbone, and the cheekbone is here, and then the flesh here. And the same, slightly darker, darker tone. Darker tone. And half tone around here, which is just about or over that little light here. Wait, that's the light. So you have a half tone around it. And dark, see? Dark, dark. And that half tone here. Working a little bit more, just re-emphasizing the lip line, that little wrinkle here, and then the edge of her cheek, and also very, very dark shadow underneath her chin. All right. Okay. We get in there. Okay, I'll leave for a break. And I'll keep drawing. Okay, just I'll stop it for a bit for a while. Hello, back again. It's good to have a little bit of break, coffee or tea, or even just stop working. You will see more when you come back. So I've seen that end of her mouth is actually large. It goes a little bit further back, and that line of that wrinkle here goes back further back as well. And here we are. A little bit. So I've enlarged all her jaw practically, because it does look a little bit more enlarged than what I've already done. Now that line goes away. It was determining the middle, where the middle line, well, the end or the beginning of her nose or the end of her forehead. So I've just moved it back a little, just took the line off, was too strong, and they have, I'm talking about this, the eye socket, that the eye is actually placed here, so it's a little bit more like, it's more like a rounded thing, you see? Look at that. Just isolate this. I'm not saying isolate it because isolate it from the whole, but in this particular instance, we need to see what's going on here. Look at that. You see, it's like a semicircle, then it goes straight down. So it's a semicircle up here, then it moves straight down here. There you are. And you have white hair coming through, and also that, you see, that line just aligns, that flesh tone aligns with that bone structure there. So it's a line coming through like this. And then you have, as I said, a little bit further back, hat and her white hair. There you have it, white hair here. And then this a little bit of wrinkles here, which is this one here, right there. And squint your eyes and you will see, you'll get very confused what's going on here, but squint your eyes, you will see just a massive tone, wide, not white, sorry, a grey tone, a grey tone. This is that, this white line here is this. Then you have the white hair, as I said earlier on. I think the white hair just goes right here. A little bit background, not to be too bland and white background. And then bit of hair, bit of wrinkles here coming back. There you have it. And the grey, beautiful grey hair here, right there. It's a very, very light tone, very white. See, the hair is whiter than the skin tone. So there you are. And a little bit of flesh tone here. Same, and then you see that V shape of the white hair coming through. Down here. Okay. Hair just coming right here. Grey hair. And then this, see, the brightest light is here. That's all a grey and middle tone like this. There you are. Grey and middle tone like this. And then this, see that line there? There. And another line which comes through here. These are worry lines, and maybe overemphasizing them. I don't think I need to go as strongly as I'm doing it here. Bringing some wrinkles here, and as I said earlier on, they all come this way. Just move on down this way, move down that way, and a little bit of darker tones. Squint your eyes and you'll see that all this dark area, it's almost unified. See, I mean that way. And dark shade here. Dark. Actually, it's not dark. The hair is grey, obviously, but I'm going a little bit too dark with the charcoal there. A little bit further out, as I can see, the vertical line will go from that white line to her eye. So you have that white part here, which is, and then straight to the eye. Now, as I said earlier on, she's the babushka. She's looking upwards. And it is dark. It's not the eyebrow, but it's the skin, which is still a little bit darker than the upper forehead, like here. Now, I'm going to use a little bit of, I'm running out of clean fingers here, so I'm going to use the chamois as a tool to bring that, see that highlight here on the eyebrow? I'm not bringing it with my fingers, so that is a really good tool. Now you can play around with some wrinkles here, look, with chamois. And if you don't have chamois, I've said you can use paper towel. Paper towel is almost as good. Just chamois is a bit more absorbent, that's the difference. See? I'm implying skin tone there. Now that's a very half tone, the whole area is half tone area here. And you have the pink, which is the most delicate part of the eye. It's that skin tone, which is very, it goes pink because it's loads of blood vessels there. And that, you see that bone structure here? I don't have to really emphasize that a lot, but just to be there. And then you have, look, these are at the same level. See, the eyebrow here, horizontally, it goes the same angle as the right hand side of the eyebrow. And then you have another part of the eyebrow here. Again, I'm straightening up those lines. So the eyebrow, that level, it goes straight on the other side. It's an horizontal line. A little bit of overemphasizing this, which is, see that part here underneath the eyebrow is the bone structure. And with the chamois coming back here, highlighting this part, highlighting that part on the top, and then in between, the line in between. There you go. And see that little very delicate skin here, which comes, which becomes, it's the skin moving from up down. It's being stretched. And a little bit of eyelid here. Half tone. I'll need a putty rubber because I'm going to the eye with a lot more details are here going on. Like for instance, a little bit of light here, you see, and then the white of the eye, shine of her eyes, little highlight on the eyes. There you are. And darken a little bit more. The eyes a bit darker here. And darker tone. Between the upper lip and the nose, you have that area, which is actually really dark here. And see that half tone? See that half tone here? It's really dark as well. well, it's darker than the top of the nose, so that is actually where the nose becomes the cheek. See, the nose is moving down and becoming a cheek. And I would say that is brighter than this, that cheekbone here. So that is brighter than this area here. I mean, I could go, the lines, you don't have to do what I'm doing here, you can go vertically, you don't have to do exactly the same. But you should do the same as I'm doing here with the putty rubber. See, that suggests, see, I'm moving it this way to create the impression of wrinkles. Putty. There you go. And a little bit more, a little bit wider here. And also coming and doing that dark thing here, which is, see, that part of her cheek. Now that, see, if I move it this way, that creates the impression of rounded bit coming here, and connecting it with a dark dress. Don't have to go too dark there. Could lose that line. I could afford to lose that line there. See, by losing this line here, it just creates, it moves the flesh tone and the background, just kind of merges them together. Again, that creates the impression of the wrinkles by moving it this way, by moving or bringing those lines there. Again, wrinkles here, worry lines, and a beautiful grey hair which comes around here, see, and all merges here, right there. I think I need to go a bit brighter here. We can afford to go a little bit brighter there. Look, just highlight those. So you don't do every individual hair, you just work with masses of. There you go. And the lightest light after this is just underneath her eye. It's the eye back. That's the lightest light. That's as light as this lower part. I could actually come and emphasize, instead of doing the whole bit which is dark here, I could do a little bit darker line here, and then move that area and highlight it a bit again, darker, the whole thing. There you are. I think she's got a bit of a wider nose, so let's make, yeah, the nostril, just, it's above her, or the line of the nostril, the end of the nostril is just beyond that tear duct line. So yes, I can afford to do that a bit more here. And widen her nose. And the same thing could go the other way. Look, tear duct and cheek and nostril. There you go. There. So a bit of a wider nose. And then just bring, it looks like, it gives the impression of the upper lip, or the upper flesh, the flesh between the nose and the lip, it moves forward. You see, that's darker, but also it moves forward. How do I know? Because we know that the jaw goes, Well, because of the lack of teeth in this case here. So you have less teeth on the lower part, and that part moves inwards, which in this case we go dark at the top, although you would think that should be brighter because it moves forward. Yes, logically yes, but in this case, because the jaw, the lower part of the jaw is moving that way, then it's being illuminated by the light. And this is why you have that lower part of the jaw brighter than the top. And could go a little bit darker there. Yes, I could go a bit darker there, but still, there's a highlight which I can bring it back with a chamois. And again, a little bit of highlights. The chamois has gone and has done all that line, which I was not intended to do. And this jaw, which just moves, you see, moves up a bit. There you go. Move there, and then you have some highlights here of skin, how the skin is being turned. Now, looking at it from far away, I mean, making the picture small, I see that those sidelines are they're not so emphasized. They're a bit softer, less visible. Give that a little bit more emphasis here. And that's a very dark area. I don't want to get too involved with those darks. A sort of this dark, which is transparent, will do here. And I could bring that onto her flesh tone here, like this, and unify those different parts that I've done previously. By saying unify, I'm just unifying all those little twists and turns of the skin tone here. And also coming there. Okay. The same thing could go for this side. And bring those lines together. There you are. And I'm giving her this red cheek here. Again, unifying those little shapes onto more of a cohesive here. Jaw and cheek together, merged. Bring that line back a bit more. See that? Reflected light here. Reflects back, bounces back the light here. It's very, very weak, but it's still there. And then I don't want want to get involved with all the wrinkles here, but what I'm trying to get is that beautiful round cheek. And the loop goes just above. The loop goes above, yes, it's there, but it's a little bit further back. So she's wider. And I can move the ear. I can afford to move the ear a bit further back. Highlight this. Charcoal. Keep this off. And then bring the ear into more prominent, the cartilage here. And little highlight here. And then there as well. Here we are. Softly moving that about. This line is that very strong, so I better soften this by doing that. See? And I better emphasize that beautiful straight line coming, which is here, moving it downwards, like this way. There you are. And white hair coming through. I'm talking about this. See the hair all around it? It's like it's moving out. It's trying to escape from the dark ring of a hat. Now that is very dark here. And let's give her a little bit of a darker tone onto her nose. I'll come back with a putty and brighten it up again. With putty, come in and emphasizing those highlights on the nose, see? That makes the nose pop out a bit more. There we are. And then a little bit of highlights. A bit of highlights around here. I think that is a bit too strong. Push it back. There you go. And a little bit off. All that should go also dark. All that. And underneath the nose, cast shadow of the nose. There we are. The nose pops up a bit, pops out a bit more. Okay, and then a little bit of highlight here, and a little bit of highlight there as well. Okay. With the stump, just want to place and be a bit more precise with those, with the eyelid. very, very soft line here. Those lines are extremely delicate. They're not strong at all. If you go strongly there, that skin tone is so delicate there, and it's so sensitive to very dark tones. So keep it as light as possible. This is where you need to concentrate. Highlight here, see, at the top of the eyebrow, and then same down up here. There you are. And there as well. At the top of the eyelid. Eyebrow, sorry. And also underneath her eye, where the eye back's supposed to be, which is not very much in this lady. And a little bit of highlights here. You see those skin tones? Oh, it's so softly. So I'm actually overemphasizing it, but it's a lot softer than that. Some highlight underneath here, you see? That's so much lighter than the top of the upper lip. That area there is so much lighter. It's right there. There you are. Okay, everyone. We're reaching the end. But honestly, if you stop in the middle and you come back after a little bit of coffee or tea or for just a little break, and you will see those changes that they are necessary. And a little bit of half tone here. That also suggests skin tone. And then just 1 second, once. Maybe children at home, you know. Okay. No. That's a little bit. Yes, that was needed. That line. It makes a difference. And then bring that highlight. Highlight. And darker here. And then softer grey here. There. Okay, then let's go grey hair around here as well. And then again, you can work as much as you like, but I don't think you need a lot more, because it makes the point really. Now here, just here, bring the hair a little bit brighter. The hair is brighter than the skin tone. Again, here we are. And a take some darks from here and then move it there. And a little bit darker here as well. Half tone. Okay. I think we're almost done here. Now, Conte, bring the Conte back. And you see, that distance I cannot cover it with charcoal. So I'm using a little bit of Conte. So the eye is darker than the white of the eye, of course. Just overemphasize that a bit more. And there we are. Here. And white hair. All the grey hair as you wish. And that follows up. Some flesh tone here. Highlight it. In between the wrinkles. White lines. Softly, softly, softly going on here. You see, I have decimated a little bit this. See that? These are bad points here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So be aware of those. You see, I need to incorporate those now. See, stump. Keep the stump all over. And then move those, you see. They shouldn't be, because they look like shrubs, they look like branches of a tree. Or like cheap wood, chirp wood. I'm not sure if that's correct, but you know what I mean. When you cut wood and you have splinters everywhere. So you don't want splinters on her head, on forehead especially. So softly incorporate those half tones. I went too heavy-handed there, moving the whole finger, so I shouldn't have done that. I should have gone a lot softer. Okay, okay, okay. And squinting my eyes, getting the Conte out, and then moving all those darks. And as I incorporate those darks into a more cohesive whole. And coming back here. There you have it. The eyes, okay. And this is also. And then get that darks, get those darks. highlight it a bit more. And here as well. There you go. And here as well. Okay, folks, I think we are at the end here. All right. I'll see you soon. Bit of grey hair there. Oh, I can fiddle here with the lady all day now. Okay, what's the date today? February. Okay then. See you on the next one.